I'm fantastic. I haven't put my pants on since the fifth hole. I Oh, the fact that you actually know that one. That's a great stand-up special. Very underrated by Dennis Leary. No cure for cancer. He still has the solution to the drug problem. Not less drugs, more drugs, and give them to the right fucking people. Speaking of which, speak, speaking of which, can we get John Daly a lifetime exemption to the Masters? Because I need more John Daly in my life. The only thing that would make this more American is if there was a giant American flag and a bald eagle in the background of it. Right to the corner to the guy selling crack. Too soon? Never too soon. God, God bless John Daly is almost as a favorite of mine as Tiger, and I'm furious with Twitter. Tiger is getting so much love on Twitter, and I'm very happy for him. But the problem is, where were all these people when Tiger needed him? Barack Obama wasn't fucking congratulating Tiger when Elin was chasing him down the fucking driveway with a goddamn 9-iron in her hand. And people weren't sticking by Tiger. I mean, our favorite business reporter had the fucking balls to actually post all the sponsors that dropped Tiger over when everything happened. Like today, like what's his point? Hey, my giant corporation doesn't want to stick by a guy that's a serial philanderer and an asshole on all sorts of levels because he's a human being. Like, hey, Darren Ravel, you weren't fucking sticking by Tiger and writing articles about how troubled he was, what a giant fucking asshole his dad was, and how he just needs a little fucking love. Like, stick by the guy. I stuck by him. I wore my Tiger Woods hat with pride every day after that because you know what? Tiger's a fucking human like the rest of us. And if you saw his fucking hairline, you'd know he's a goddamn human like the rest of us. But you know what? Well, the No, Tiger needs to go full George Jefferson. Tiger needs to go full George Jefferson. Don't pick it. Yeah, grow the side fro out. I, tap, tap, tappy. I think I had to slap my rod so I didn't blow my load early when it didn't go in because I was fucking all excited for that. My favorite is that his girlfriend, who we've talked about before, was one of the back nine biddies from the New York Post article back in the day. He is riding hard with one of the old school Tigers back nine biddies. Like she worked for him at his restaurant in his restaurant group. She's moved up through the ranks and she is an original back nine OG riding hard. And she was right there with his mom and his kids and good for Tiger, liking a little crazy. Oh, his son was so proud. It was like, but that's how America should have been. His kids rode hard with him through it. If you didn't ride hard through it, you can say congratulations to Tiger, but don't act like you've been there the whole time, like some of us. Yeah, but here's the thing, like I think his kids are gonna appreciate him more than he actually appreciated his dad, because his dad was nuts. Like, did you two or three? He was two or three when he was on. His dad used to walk around behind him and distract him with like air horns and shit on the golf course when he's like six. Like just his dad totally fucked with his head the entire time he was a kid. Have you ever seen the movie Molly's Game? Do you know the story? Let me look up her exact name. Actually, Brady, look up uh, Brady, look up her name for me. It's Molly something, but I'll tell you. So this girl Brady's going to look up her full name for us, but she was her dad was a psychologist or a psychiatrist and raised Molly Bloom. Yeah, but look up her two brothers. Okay, so her dad is a psychiatrist, psychologist, and she was an Olympic skier, and her two brothers are also fucking professional athletes, played Division I football, and she after she had a freak accident, tore up her knees, and could no longer be an Olympian. She went on to run some of the highest stakes poker games in Hollywood and then New York, and then she gets mixed up with some bad people, try and actually get mixed up in her business, and she ends up getting arrested by the feds. She refuses to snitch or rat on anybody. But at one point, her lawyer asks her about her relationship with her father and if her father was a demanding person. And her response was, how many female athletes are Olympians and don't have demanding fathers? But it destroyed her relationship with her dad. And Tiger's the same way. And there was actually just a book that came out called Range, or it's coming out. And it's about how not specializing in one sport is actually the key to being great in one sport and actually having a range of variabilities. And it yeah, the point of this is don't fuck with your kids' heads like this. You create fucking crazy people that do crazy shit. Yeah. And also have let me ask you this. Wilt versus Tiger. Who finishes their life with more? So let me ask you this. Can we now bring this full circle to what we here at Sports on High think is the most critical point of any successful athlete? The hot girlfriend. Why are we not all doing this to be successful in life? Because clearly Wilt and Tiger are two of the most successful people ever. You name me somebody that's the best in their sport and at some point did not have an entire harem of people. LeBron's not the greatest basketball player. Virgin. Yeah. And where's Tim Tebow right now? I'm just saying. You got to get a little. Who was last year's NBA MVP? James Harden. All right, let me ask you this question. All right, let's have this little exercise. If you can draft any basketball player, you got to build your team, your starting five. Are you taking LeBron number one? Assume you're getting any player in their prime. I'm gonna tell you right now, if I'm building a team, I'm I'm taking no, I'm taking Jordan over LeBron to build a starting five. I'm taking Jordan over LeBron. I'm taking Magic Johnson over LeBron. I'm taking Kareem over LeBron. I'm taking Larry Legend over LeBron. Like, if you're going to build a starting five, I LeBron would be like before, like it would have to be like if you had 30 teams and you're saying you get one, you got to draft your team. It'd be closer to like 8, 9, or 10 where I would pick LeBron. There's other players that I would rather have as a nucleus to a team. I'd rather have Tim Duncan as the centerpiece of my team over LeBron. Like, would you rather have Orlando Magic Shaq? Let me look up. Yeah, but if that Shaq had to play in this NBA, he never would have put on that weight. He would have stayed thinner because he would have had to play a different game. Look up the picture of Orlando Magic Shaq. That dude is thin and he is fucking insanely athletic. Like, LeBron and well, we were just talking about Tiger in terms of lots of ladies. I'm just saying, women are wonderful, important people in our lives, and we need more of them to be great. To achieve greatness, you need more ladies. Wilt figured it out. Tiger figured it out. There's plenty of other people that maybe aren't as well publicized, but we won't call them out. Look at Harden until all his peccadillos came out, didn't achieve greatness until he got to Houston and everything that goes on there. Well, it used to be Tampa, but it might be now. Like, all right, so this brings me to my key question for us. If you could eat with any athlete in any restaurant, who is it and where is it? Because my first two thoughts was Tiger at a Shoney's or James Harden at any strip club with a buffet. Not you don't want Kyrie at a Planet Hollywood. You're missing the point. It's Kyrie at a Planet Hollywood because it's got a round Earth out front, and that would spark a fantastic conversation. I Here's what I want because I am fascinated by flat Earth people. I love the fact that there is hashtag space is fake now is a thing and that space isn't real. And what I really want Kyrie to come out and say is that he no longer believes in flat Earth, that he believes in a semi flat Earth. I don't even know, I don't think it's anything. I just want him to say he's learned a few things and that he no longer believes the Earth is flat. It's semi-flat. It's semi-round. Is semi-round Earth? I want him to go somewhere in the middle to fuck with people some more. All right. If you want my honest answer, I want Charles Oakley at a steakhouse in a back room where we can smoke cigars afterwards because I want to know everything there is to really know about the NBA and Michael Jordan. And you never know who's going to want to come around and hang out with that dude because he is fucking amazing. Yeah. But I just think, like, does anybody have better inside information as to what the 80s and 90s of the NBA were like other than Oak? Yeah, that's a real story. The Biggie song, I've Got a Story to Tell, that's a true story. I, I'm Googling it right now, but I can't. He definitely confirmed that it was a real story. And no, it wasn't Starks. It was somebody bigger than that. Hmm. Anthony Mason. Crazy coincidence. I met Anthony Mason in an elevator in Charlotte, North Carolina, in in 1999 when he had just gotten traded, and I had gone down there. My girlfriend at the time was going to Queens College in Charlotte. I had a hotel. I was going down to visit her. I was in the elevator. There was a lady and her child coming, held the door for her to get in the elevator. She gets in the elevator. She goes, "Oh, can you hold on 1 second? My husband's coming." Next thing I know, the largest man I had ever seen in my life comes walking around the corner and gets in the elevator with like the shaved head with stuff written in the side of it. And I just stood there in the elevator looking straight up and knowing exactly who it was, but being so taken back by how tall and how yoked and just like until you see an NBA player in person, you cannot comprehend how fucking enormous they are. And I just stood there flabbergasted as to how big this dude was. But then you realize that in the Biggie Small song, I've got a story to tell. No, no, I met her in the elevator. But that is such a classic song. Oh yeah, can we? Because we got a little golf. This is going to be my pick right now, based solely on these pictures. Dust, Dustin Johnson will win one of the three majors this year. Paulina Gretzky's Paulina Gretzky's boyfriend of at least several years now. That's the one. Good Lord. Should we just call her Khaleesi from now on? Is she the real mother of dragons? The great one, seriously living up to his name. My hat's off to Wayne Gretzky and his sperm. So let me ask you guys, what the fuck is happening in the NHL playoffs? So let me ask you a question. Does this mean the Bruins are going to come out of the Eastern Conference? Are we getting the Boston Grand Slam? Is this a thing? Are we getting our plus 40,000? What the odds for? What do you want? What do you want? The Bruins odds to win the Stanley Cup or the Eastern Conference? Uh, it is it is down to $100 will win you 19,000 now, which it was 23,000 last week, 40,000 3 weeks ago when we suggested this. I knew that this was a real story. I don't understand. I don't understand why people don't want to do this. Don't want to just write like work backwards. Didn't everybody see Back to the Future too? He works backwards out of the goddamn book. He knows all the stories before they happen. We have that information now. So, what are the stories that we need to watch for? What are the most intriguing stories in the NHL playoffs? What would you say if this happened? This is the best story to come out of it. Clearly, the Columbus beating the Lightning is the story. That the curse of what's it called when you win the regular season points trophy? So the curse of the President's Trophy continues. There's one headline. There's one headline that Brady already knew, we all knew, everybody knew, and nobody wanted to say it's going to happen. Everybody wanted to say, no, what has always happened isn't going to happen. Oh, well. So, what are the other stories that people that don't watch the NHL should know? No, that's a story that's happening now. What's the story that hasn't happened yet? Are there any teams in the Western Conference that are an original six? Is there anybody on a team that is like never won a cup, needs to win a cup, like and Joe Thornton used to play for the Bruins, correct? And but they liked him there, or did he leave in a shitty way? Like, what's a better story? San Jose, Boston? Is it the Vegas being in the finals again and then crumbling again? Is it two Canadian teams in the finals? That's what you're saying you think is going to happen. I'm asking you got to tell me the story. Tell the story, and that'll get you the answer you actually want. So, so the only way that's a great story is if it's two Canadian teams in the finals, and one has heartbreak, and one gets all the accolades. That's that story. So that's one. No, I think you got to torture one. No, I think the torture of one of those two knowing they're not going to be it and that the other one gets it is a bigger story that people like. Well, then fuck that. We don't want that story then. We don't want Canada happy. And build a goddamn ice wall. Can we get this hat? Can we please? Game of Thrones is on tonight. I need my Canadian ice wall. So who's our men of the our brothers of the night? Who's our crows that's going to eliminate the last Canadian team? What was the name? What was the name of the guy that owned the Avalanche when like Patrick Waugh was the goalie and they last won a Stanley Cup? Can you look up the name of the guy that used to own them? So my uncle is a captain of a yacht down in South Florida, and they do private charters. And he had a gentleman on board, and one day he came out wearing this unbelievably giant ring, and his first mate or one of the guys on his crew asked the guy about the ring, and he goes, "Oh, this is a ring from the Avalanche winning the Stanley Cup." And the guy was like, "Oh, that's fantastic. How did you get it?" And the guy looks at him and goes, "Well, if you own the team, they give you one." It just happened this past summer. Maybe that was him. I forget the name of the gentleman, but it was just funny. Hockey team and a football team? God damn, that's fucking baller. Well, sports franchises are the thing that billionaires like to collect because you just can't, there's not that many of them to own. Holy shit. What is this guy worth? How do we not know more about this guy? This guy's a, this, well, my hat is off to Stan Kroenke. He sounds like a fantastic individual. And I'm sure that he has had plenty of women and he has a stellar looking wife. Can you click on his wife? Spouse. Ann Walton Kroenke right there. Down in the lower right. Just go to spouse. Down low. Oh well. Anyways, so is there any way that the Bruins play more than one? Ooh, that might have just shot a hole in that hole. Unless 6.5 billion. Fantastic. Uh, can you see under people also search for the first one there? Can you click on that? Yeah. Is he Ron Burgundy? Does Ron Burgundy own the Nuggets? You ate the whole wheel? God, Ron Burgundy. That's fantastic. Ron Burgundy owns the Denver Nuggets. I might have to change how I feel about them now that I know Ron Burgundy owns them. Let me ask you a question. Would you let him watch your children with that thing on his head? there is zero there's a 0% chance that that's real. There is he looks he looks like an actor from some Judd Apatow movie. So so how many people have we ruled out so far that are not allowed to watch your kids? Hold on. Before we go on, look up Chris O apostrophe DOWD. Chris O'Dowd. That's who. That's Stan Kroenke's illegitimate kid. That's Freddie Kitchens. Yeah, that's Stan. That's Stan Kroenke's illegitimate kid. Look now. Now go back to the Stan Kroenke picture. Just click on his picture again. I'm telling you, You tell me that's not his illegitimate kid. That's him. He's an actor. He's in Judd Apatow movies. It's it's either that or Stan Kroenke amassed his wealth by being a time traveler. Yeah, and making money, bringing it back and forth over time. That's it. And we've solved that problem. How Stan Kroenke made his money. He's a time traveler with Kanye. All right. NBA playoffs. It's so simple. Warriors Celtics in the finals. We're getting Warriors Celtics in the finals. We're getting the Bruins in the finals. We're going to get the Sports Grand Slam in Boston. You tell me how this hasn't played out perfectly for the Celtics. They're going to smash the Pacers. And then they're going to beat up on the depleted Bucks, who are going to be riding high after sweeping the Pistons. And then they get two teams that seem completely lost at the moment in either the Sixers or the Raptors. I don't think Kawhi wants to win the championship this year. He's a max player, and there's nothing he can do that's going to raise his profile. Because it's not like Kawhi's going to give a great press conference afterwards. Kawhi doesn't want to be the man. He wants to be the guy behind the man. He wants to just do his thing, get paid, and leave. He doesn't care. And the bigger story is, and the reason why Toronto won't, because I don't want to be in Drake's feelings. I don't want to have to fucking listen to Drake. And you know who else doesn't want to have to listen to Drake? The rest of the world. Nobody wants to be in Drake's feelings after the Raptors win an NBA title. It's not going to happen. They won't let it happen. It doesn't matter. Do you know who Ke- do you, do you know who Kevin Durant is? And well, hold on, let me back up on this. See, this is the problem with your undisputed, your first takes, your Will Kane shows, all this stuff. They all want to talk about this. They want to talk about Kevin Durant and Patrick Beverly and what it means and blah blah blah. It doesn't mean dick. Sure, but 90% of people are only going to see that on Twitter. They're not watching the game. You know what would get them to watch the game? If people understood that Kevin Durant is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's who Kevin Durant is. He got in one little fight and his mom got scared. He said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle to Bel-Air." And that's Kevin Durant. I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind. Dolan is not going to sell the Knicks. And Kevin Durant, because Dolan won't sell the Knicks and he won't hire his best buddy to be the GM, his business manager, Kevin Durant's going to go to the Clippers. He's moving with his auntie and uncle to Bel Air. And this is what he is. He is the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. He's going to put his jacket on inside out. He's going to get ridiculed, and yet he's still going to win. No, Doc Rivers, great. Let me ask you this question, because I thought long and hard about this. What would be the greatest ending to Kevin Durant's career? What would bring his career full circle? Where? Where did Kevin Durant where did Kevin Durant start his career? Where is Steve Ballmer from? Who doesn't have an NBA team? Whose team is having their new arena cockblocked by James Dolan? The Clippers. So Ballmer's playing 3D chess right now, and this is why he went after James Dolan. If James Dolan throws all his weight around to fuck the Clippers out of getting the land across the road from the Forum and can't build a new arena in LA, guess what Ballmer gets to do? He goes, oh, you won't let me build an arena here. Guess where I can build an arena? In Seattle. And then the NBA gets to say to whoever buys the New Orleans Hornets, guess what? We have an arena and a space in LA for you. And therefore, Durant signs with the Clippers, signs the 5-year deal, and in his last season, gets to win a championship in Seattle, where he started it all, and he gets to be the hero in a place that he wants to be. Just right, what's that? So in 2024, Kevin Durant wins title with Steve Ballmer for the Seattle. No, fuck that shit. They're going to be the Supersonics again. God damn it! Bring back the Sean Kemp throwbacks. Yeah, you keep the Clippers history, and when the Pelicans move over and they become the Clippers again, then you just pick right back up. Because it's not like LA can't be without the Clippers. Of course they can. I think it would be fantastic. And then the Clippers can go back to being the laughing stock of LA. Lakers would love it. Jeannie Buss gets what she wants. James Dolan gets what he wants. They're big power people. And Ballmer gets what he wants because he's smarter than both of them. He's playing chess. Dolan and Jeannie Buss are playing checkers. It's okay. I'm just saying, Steve Ballmer's smarter than the rest of us. I think that's already what he's doing. He already did it. I'm just picking up his clues. I'm Sherlock Holmes in this shit. So, so, so You have to bet your life. You have to bet your life on one of these four teams. You ready? Thunder, Blazers, Nuggets, or Spurs. One of those four teams will be in the Western Conference Finals. Thunder, Blazers, Nuggets, or Spurs. One of those teams will have 4 games against the War. Will have 7 games against the Warriors to make it to the NBA Finals. Which one? So think about how this plays out, right? Because when the playoffs, we were going to talk about this. Like I'm telling you, the 5, 6, and 7 seed in the West, 2 out of those 3 are going to advance, and I wouldn't be surprised if all 3 advance. Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jazz, the Thunder, and the Spurs all won their games, right? But let's just focus on this one half. So the Spurs and the Thunder win their series. Then the Spurs and the Thunder play. That's fantastic. We get more Russ, we get more pop, and the Thunder match up unbelievable against the Spurs. And then we get Durant versus Russ to go to the NBA Finals. Come on, what's better storylines here? Pop outsmarts the whole league. Russ wins a playoff series. Then we get Russ KD. Come on. It's the best. We get the Rocket system doesn't work. We get all of it. And then everybody at the end of it goes, but the fucking Warriors won again. No, we're just talking about the West. Because then we get to the NBA finals and we get the Warriors versus the Celtics, and we get CIA Brad. He's no longer President Stevens. He is CIA Brad, who makes a phone call to Pop and goes, Pop, let's have dinner. Let's get one of those famous dinners and bottles of wine. And you tell me, how do I get submersive and how do I fuck with Boogie and Draymond and make the Warriors implode from the middle? And we get a Malice in the Palace of just the Warriors fighting each other like an Anchorman. And we get, where did you get a trident? I think Brick killed a guy. You got you get Marcus Smart, Marcus Morris. Yes, Vince Vaughn will be there. But like, what would that be the greatest fight of all time? You get Marcus Smart, Marcus Morris, you get the Viking Aaron Bain, and you got him going up against Draymond and Boogie, and you got what's that? The dude that like they loved him in Boston. It's like Yakov or something. Jurkic, Yoko. I don't know. One of those foreign guys is on the Golden State, and it would just be amazing. You get Kyrie and KD playing footsie in the corner while everybody else is fighting. They're giving their best home run taps to each other. Clay's reading a newspaper in the middle of it. Steve Kerr's laying on the ground because his back hurts. Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy. Jeff Van Gundy runs out and grabs somebody's leg. Mark Jackson's the only guy that stays on the microphone. And he's like, "This wouldn't have happened if I was the coach." And he starts hounding for another job. It's the greatest finals ever. And this game that whole series should be played in Flint, Michigan, and it should be called the Mega Bowl. Like, let me ask you a question. How do the Detroit Pistons not have a Flint Tropics night and wear Flint Tropics jerseys? Yes. How have all the halftime dancers be in like the Flint Tropics thing with the palm trees and the fish doing their thing. Let's get Andre 3000 out. It's coffee black. Have him do a 3-point halftime exhibition. The Pistons suck. They're in the playoffs. Fucking do something fun. Blake, let me ask you this: if Blake Griffin came out in that game in a Jackie Moon jersey, how fantastic would that be? Like, it would be the greatest thing ever. So what's going on with TJ is what would happen if you tested all the old samples. They can now test for EPO, which is basically a way to like oxygenate your blood, but it also thickens your blood. So like Lance Armstrong used to have to get up in the middle of the night while doing the Tour de France and have to pedal on his bike for half an hour to thin his blood. So the whole point is that TJ Dillashaw's entire team was like, "Oh, we didn't know he was doing it." Yes, you did know he was doing it because it has to fucking be administered by doctors. And that if this guy fucks it up, he will have a stroke and die. It is that kind of high level shit. You don't just start doing EPO. You have to be well versed in the steroid and PED game to get to that level. You don't just fucking start karate and become a black belt. You gotta fucking work your way into it. All right. So it basically means that you have more energy. Your body can function at a higher level for longer when you have EPO. Makes your blood thicker, but it can carry more oxygen to the muscles so that they can work harder longer. And thanks, Dr. Brady. PhD Brady. So, anyways, so now Cody Garbrandt's upset because 2 out of his last 3 losses, including the title defense, was to Dillashaw, who they went and tested the sample from when he fought Cody, and it was positive for EPO. So he's been doing it for a long time, and they just figured out a test for it. But for this in particular, I'm not sure. But as they get more tests, they could always go back and get the samples. But I don't want them to. I don't care. Like, let me ask you this: is John Jones the greatest MMA fighter? Does it matter that he's been caught before? Doesn't take away from what they do. And the point is, everybody. I don't understand baseball writers. They don't hold it against Bagwell, but they hold it against Barry Bonds. Have you seen have you seen what Bagwell looked like when he came into the league and what he left looking like? Get the fuck out of here. Bagwell could have been a goddamn WWE superstar. He was so big. So, I'm not sure what it means. It probably means the dude's never going to fight in the UFC again. Well, it's not going to be an interim. Listen, if the UFC had any sort of fucking balls, they take the top 8 guys in the division and they'd have themselves a little tournament and they'd let them fucking fight it out. 8 versus 1, 7 versus 2. Yeah, let them have fun. That's it. I don't know why they don't listen. I don't have anything to do with it. Listen, I don't have anything bad to say about Ari Emanuel. His brother Ram does live just down the road from me, Nine Fingered Ram. I don't have anything bad to say. I don't want to allude that they may or may not have, Chicago mob connections or anything like that, or that they might do anything underhanded. That would be idiotic of me to suggest that anything like that would happen because, yeah, we wouldn't want to say that this new deal with ESPN fucks a lot of fighters over out of their pay-per-view point money, and that fighters aren't going to make are going to make less money now. Allegedly, people that may or may not have scoliosis. You two put your pants back on. It's all right that Tampa's losing and that they're going to be out of the playoffs. It's not better than Tiger winning. Do you think do you, do you think that golf should allow people to have walkout music? like when they come up to the first tee at the start of every day. Like, could Tiger for the rest of this year come out to Tribe Called Quest and be on an award tour? Speaking of which, there's a major leaguer that came out to this. Do you know where that? Do you know how that originated? The walkout music in baseball. Do you know what movie just had its 30th anniversary? Major League. And that was Major League. Wild Thing Vaughn. They played Wild Thing. That same year after that movie came out, Mitch Williams, playing for the Cubs, started coming out to that. And that was and that's when and that is the first instance of closer music in Major League Baseball 30 years ago. If if you if you want a fantastic read, 10 years ago, Sports Illustrated released the oral history of Major League, and they interviewed like Corbin Burnson, Charlie Sheen. They interviewed everybody, and they did a whole oral history of Major League. And the guy that played the manager, I can't think of his name. You know, the one that just pisses on Corbin Burnson's contract and has an iconic fucking performance. Like, there are like Charlie Sheen talking about how this guy would come in with like the whole bar still swarming around his head from how much he partied the night before, and that Charlie Sheen ended up hanging out with him like on a regular basis because the guy was at the bar till close. And just the fucking stories of how legendary that guy was at drinking, and that Charlie Sheen started hanging out with him. And Charlie Sheen and Bergen had just come off of doing fucking Platoon, which couldn't have been a crazier fucking experience, and then did that movie. You and then plus you had Wesley Snipes, James Gammon, legend on that set, so fucking beloved by every guy on there. If you, I highly recommend that Sports Illustrated oral history of Major League the movie. Here's another crazy fact about that movie. It was based on the Minnesota Twins in the 70s. That the owner of the Minnesota Twins actually had it written in that if attendance in his stadium was below a certain number, that he could move the team. And that's what the basis of that movie was founded on. An actual fucking true kind of idea. So there's what you learned today, Brady. John, I was going to say, do you follow Tom Brady on Twitter? Tom Brady Tom Brady tweeted today it's his only day on the couch is to watch the Masters, El Tigre, and then Game of Thrones. So I'm just saying, Tom Brady, Masters fan, Game of Thrones fan. Is that a little is that Clutch tweet a little hint that he's signing with Clutch Sports and LeBron? Should we read more into that? Good for Tom Brady. Good for throwing. Yeah, because we're not getting our gambling advice from anybody named Darren Ravel that works at the Action Network. He's too busy posting about some guy that bought a scratcher at a gas station and how well that's going to play out. But there are plenty of sites out there that tell you where percentage of bets or percentage of money is on games. And there's a guy called Vegas Dave. He won some insane. If you've heard of him, he's won some insane fucking bets in a row. Got banned from Vegas because he won too much. But he does a real simple formula. He just looks for lines where 75% or more of the bets are coming in a certain spot. So he looks for any time where it's 76% of the money or 76% of the bets are on one team, and then he just goes the other way. So that happened twice today. You had the OKC Portland game. 75% of the bets were on the over. That game came in under, way under, way under. The other instance in which it happened, it was 76% of the bets were on Milwaukee giving 15 points to Detroit. Now, that game is currently going on right now, and it is a smoke show. Not in a good way. Wow. Milwaukee is smoking Detroit. But they were within 15 at the half. But we'll see. There's still a whole fourth quarter and a lot of bullshit to go. I mean, it's 97-58 right now. Holy fuck. But it's 15 points in an NBA game. So for the bench guys to come in, but those are the things that you look for. So if we go back and we can look at, the NHL games, let's see what those were listed at today. So 98% was on Tampa Bay to win today in the NHL. 98%. It was only plus 130 for Columbus, minus 140 for Tampa. Not a big give. 98% on Tampa. We see how that's turning out. Pittsburgh, 78% of the bets were on Pittsburgh to win today. 87% on Vegas to win tonight. Yep. 82% was on the over in the Tampa Bay Columbus game, which was 6 goals. So you would take under 6 goals for the total in that game. Yes, but it won't have those percentages up until tomorrow on the particular site that I look at. So you have to check in the morning before the games go. But there's other sites that you can look in and you can kind of see. I know the Westgate Sportsbook lists that a lot. But there are just places that you can go and look. So like in the site that you have up, if you click on, NHL in the home line, and then you just scroll down to where it has today's matchups. and then you just scroll down a little more, and then you see right in there, and then over at the far right hand side of that box in the middle there, it says betting trends, and you look down, it has money line, the puck line, and then the over under, and it tells you where all the percentage of the bets that they're taking are. Well, the Golden Knights are a very public team because they are in Vegas. But typically, other teams that are like that too are the Packers, the Cowboys, the Patriots. But all that does is affect what the money line or the point spread is, because they're going to try and balance it out to get. So, like, if the Packers are really only a 2 point favorite, that line might be 3.5 because they know people are going to bet the Packers no matter what they put it at. And so you should still get a pretty true number of percentage of bets. Now, mind you, this is just percentage of bets. There could be not the size of the bets. But the idea behind this is you're going the opposite way of the majority of people. And the simple logic behind that, without getting too deep into group psychology and things like that, is, have you ever been to no, have you ever been to Vegas? Does it look like the people in Vegas lose money? So logic would dictate that they're usually on the side that makes the most money, which is the opposite side of the public. So you're merely taking Vegas's side on these bets. Yeah, you're being the guy that goes to the craps table and bets the don't come line. And everybody at the table fucking hates you, but you make money. It's not popular, and it sucks when you have to fucking have, like this year, you'll see a lot of times it'll be like the Patriots playing the Dolphins, and it's going to be 85% of the bets are on the Patriots, and nobody wants to fucking watch that game and cheer for the Dolphins. Nobody. But what happens every fucking year the Patriots play the Dolphins? The Dolphins usually win one, and it's usually a close fucking game. And the Patriots don't cover. But nobody wants to bet the fucking Dolphins or the Jets when the Patriots play them. But the games are always close. And those are the games that Vegas makes their money on. The rest of the time, Vegas breaks even. 85% of the time, Vegas breaks even. It's those 15% of games that are so far out of whack where the other team wins. That's where you make your money. Yeah. Congratulations. You Darvish, what a fucking waste of money. Brady, did any puppies or kittens die that you want to talk about recently? Did did some guy at a Dodgers game steal an old lady's purse that had her life-saving medication in it? Did a Con Air flight take off and some guy's insulin get crushed when the cons took over the plane? Should we talk about this? That's Yeah, we're definitely bringing up Cyrus the Virus and Diamond Dog. Let me ask you, better movie? This is the key question. Better movie, Con Air or Fast Five? No. Fast Five is the first appearance of The Rock, and it is also we dragged a safe through Brazil for a good 15 miles and destroyed half of a beautiful city. It's where we got, yeah, it's it's the movie where we got The Rock versus Vin Diesel in a 2.5 minute fight that was choreographed and negotiated to be a draw and is everything we ever wanted. Fast Five, one of the greatest action movies of all time. We get we get Vin Diesel full La Familia. We get Paul Walker with his best hair ever. We get The Rock being the worst, best, greatest version of himself versus Nicolas Cage, long hair, jacked, definitely on every PED that was available in Hollywood at the time. We get John Malkovich. We get Ving Rhames, Steve Buscemi. We 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 get we get John Cusack in those fucking sandals with socks in the worst fucking suit ever. Uh, we get a plane landing on the Vegas Strip versus a safe being dragged all over Brazil. Amazing. We need people to tell us Con Air, Fast Five. Which one are you riding with? Whew. Oh God, I don't know. They're fantastic. Steve Buscemi as a serial killer has tea with a child, and everybody just does not want him to kill her in that movie. Versus versus The Rock versus Vin Diesel in one of the greatest choreographed fight scenes. Oh, I don't know. I just came out of a coma after whatever it was just said. I think I got hit in the face with a puck. Listen, I didn't learn anything I didn't already know. Tiger's great. People are idiots. And I firmly believe that instead of that John Daly should join the Tiger and Phil Mickelson Thanksgiving Day Golf Classic. I never. That there's only it, and it should be held in Atlanta, Georgia. It should be sponsored by Hooters, Coors Light, and the Magic City Strip Club. And it should be like every rowdy golf event that every dumbass business guy goes to during the summer. Hooters, girls and wings, beers, beers and strippers, maybe a DJ, a DJ on the, you have a DJ in a golf cart and it's the strip club DJ. And then he goes, and now coming to the 18th green, Tiger Woods, pour some sugar on me. And then he gets escorted up by the dancers. Yeah, to the tee, to the green. Yes. You tell me, you tell me Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods, John Daly, sponsored by Hooters, Coors Light, and the Magic City Strip Club. You tell me 29.95, 39.95. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Maybe you do it in Vegas so it stays light a little later in between that second and third football game. You're telling me you're not watching 18 holes of that? What's your number when you're sitting with your family that everybody's not chipping in to pay for? I what better time to teach your kids? You got to teach your kids about the birds and the bees. And what better time than with the whole family there? Even better, because those three are there, we should throw in a celebrity that changes up every year. Yeah. Oh, there's only one gentleman. There's only two options for the first year of this event as the celebrity. Nope. Nope. There's only two people, and you can charge 99.95 or more if you get one of these two gentlemen. Oh, you are so close now. One is Donald Trump, and the other is Barack Obama. Because what number wouldn't you pay to see either of those guys play golf with those other three gentlemen in that format? Mic'd up, uncensored, and we say 50% of all the proceeds go to charity X. You tell me what number. You tell me if there is a household in the northern hemisphere that does not pay for this. What if you got Donald Trump and John Daly versus Tiger and Phil in a skins match? Oh, this is how we decide the next election. We just solved democracy. We're doing we're doing the Lord's work here, gentlemen. Doing the Lord's work. I'm No, Tiger's the champ. We can't say it today. Tiger's the champ. No champ is here. The champ is in Augusta. Daffy ducking it at every fucking Waffle House around. Perkins, hide your gas attendant station at Wawa's. Everybody.